Good day. Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Eric Royce, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. And we're here at the Austin Road Elementary School today. And Anthony, we're going to tell our viewers and explain to them how process is going to be taking place at Austin Road this year.
Yeah, so what we're doing over this course of the summer in preparation for the new normal is going to all the schools. Today we're at Austin Road, and we're going to see from the building principal, Brian Gilligan, a little bit about what it's going to look like here. So kids have a better understanding about arriving in the morning, departing in the afternoon, parent pickup. We're going to go in and show a little bit about what the hallways will look like, the flow of that, and then what lunches will look like, and then a typical classroom at Austin Road will look like. So we want to get everybody to be as prepared as possible for parents and students to look at the videos so that when we do have that transition back the first couple of days, there's a little bit of an understanding what school will look like this coming year, again, because of the pandemic.
Shall we introduce Brian Gilligan?
Yes, we should.
Brian, come on down, as they say. Brian Gilligan, the principal here at Austin Road, and welcome. What a way to start a career as an elementary principal.
It's certainly been interesting, but it's been a team effort as we start to look at our procedures here in the building, whether it's outside or inside. We had district office come for a visit about 2 weeks ago, had the opportunity to be able to walk them through at that point what we thought the procedures would be, got some great feedback from them. The plan is today, teachers from Austin Road will be coming. I'm going to be walking them through the same procedures. So we're trying to get as much feedback as we go through at this point and try to put the best plan in place when we come to September. As I share with parents that we're asking for flexibility, that a lot of these things we're going to be doing is the first time, and we won't know if it works to the best of the ability until the kids actually show up here.
As Anthony and I have talked over and over again, especially with elementary children, it's going to be so difficult for them social distancing masks. Parents must instill in their children, get these safety measures out in the summertime, so when the kids come into school, they'll be all set and ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. As I've shared with some parents, it's like building their stamina for reading, right? It's only now for a mask. And the more they have the opportunity to be able to wear them, be able to speak with them on, it certainly will be a help when the transition comes in September with all the other changes that kids will be facing, to be able to take that one piece out of the equation. And we certainly know we'll have to continue building that stamina once kids come back into the school. But if they have that starting point, that will be a huge help.
Anthony, shall we go inside and check out Austin Road?
Yes, I think what we're going to do first, since we're out here, was talk about the way that we're going to come in the morning and then in the afternoon with the buses.
Okay, go ahead, Coach.
Absolutely. So arrival every morning for when the kids come off the bus, we're going to use that first pillar there as the where the buses will stop, the first bus. And we're going to unload 3 buses at a time. The thought is that I will be standing there as that first bus comes. Students will unload. They'll come through this entrance. I will then have the second bus come, and then our third bus, which will be somewhere in this general area, another staff member will be standing there for those kids then to be able to enter through that first grade wing door. The idea is we're trying to unload as many kids as we can with the social distancing protocols and be able to utilize as many entrances as we can in the front of the building. That's certainly different from last year, where we were able to unload 7 and then 6 buses and be able to transition in very quickly. So we know this is going to take a little longer, but with the safety that we want to be able to ensure, we feel at this point that's the best way to be able to do it.
What about at the end of the school day?
Yeah, so at the end of the school day, dismissal will look a lot different. Historically, we've had teachers walk out with our kids, and there would be a lot of rubbernecking where different cohorts were coming together. So that plan is last year. This year we have a new one. So the idea is, with the same plan of having 3 buses be able to line up, we are going to call those buses over our PA system for the kids to be able to walk down socially distant. We will have staff members positioned throughout our building to be able to monitor them as they walk through. And then in front of each bus, we will have a staff member that's holding a sign with a route number for that bus. So when the kids come out, they know I have 3 places to be able to look: here, here, and here, to be able to find my bus. And we also have a staff member to be able to supervise that. My plan is to stand right here as they're coming in to be able to have any last questions. Before we send the buses off, we will have a last call. Any students' last call for round 1, if we were looking to be able to put out for routes 2, 5, and 7. If no one radios me that there's a kid still walking the hallway, we will send those buses off. and then have our three next buses come in. Again, we're trying to limit the amount of students that are mixing cohorts as they walk through the hallway. We know that we can't do it really at the end of the day and beginning of the day, but knowing during the day, we will certainly be able to keep it where kids are in their classroom only interacting with the 11 or 12 kids.
And with all these changes, normally at the beginning of a school year, transportation is a little slow to begin with. Getting kids into school, sending kids home, this is going to be even more cumbersome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, the first couple days, it's just making sure everyone gets on the bus, safety, and whatever time that takes, it takes. And we just ask for parents' flexibility, knowing that the normal times will take a little while to get there, but we will get there. We just want to be able to make sure and ensure that kids are on the right bus as they go home on those first.
And Eric, if you recall, last year we put in a new system because of the year before we had a couple of glitches. If for some reason the bus is going to be extraordinarily late, we now have a system where it'll automatically call out to the parents to let them know. And the first couple of weeks, that may very easily happen based on what is happening now. And I've been from the beginning telling parents about the fact that this is new to all of us and that we all have to work together and be patient as we get through that adjustment for the first couple of weeks.
Let's go visit the Austin Road Elementary School, check out the inside and see exactly what's been taking place this summer. Brian, a number of vans come into the Austin Road School, and again, we're here in the parking lot. Tell our viewers about the new plan.
Yeah, so we just talked about arrival for our large buses. Our vans, at 8:45, these gates will be closed. So they'll have the opportunity to be able to come through our middle lot here to be able to drive up and be able to back in. So those teachers and TAs can be able to meet those students, and we're actually going to utilize that entrance there, again, with the idea of we're trying to utilize as many entrances for as many students to be able to come in at one time. So we will utilize that side entrance there for those students, once they've met their teacher and TA, to be able to walk directly in through and then be able to head into their classroom.
What about those parents who bring their children to school?
Yeah, so that for the parents that are going to bring their children, we're still going to use our lower lot like we've historically done. But instead of our students heading to the main entrance like they've done in years past, we're actually going to utilize our music hallway, which we used last year for kids that were picked up at the end of the day. We're going to have our students, again, this lot is not going to have any cars going through because this gate's closed. Once kids are dropped off, they're going to walk up right here this walkway and head to those back doors where our assistant principal, Michelle Tween, will be waiting there to be able to supervise. We're going to have dots on the ground to be able to have students socially distance so that when 9 o'clock hits and we open up those doors, they can be able to walk straight through. So we're actually utilizing 4 different entryways now for our arrival, where last year we were just using one. Again, we're trying to be able to have as quickly as possible for kids to be able to come in, but making sure they're socially distant and safe at the same time.
Should we go inside? What do you want to show us?
We'll head in to be able to look at our nurses' new entryway, because that will certainly be new for our students, and then be able to head into some classrooms to be able to see what that looks like.
Let's do it right here on Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. So it's the end of the day. Parents are picking up their children. This is the new location.
Yeah, this is the new location for parent pickup. Obviously, the big change with the guidance is that we're trying to limit the amount of people outside of our kids and teachers that enter the building. And knowing that historically our parent pickup has happened where parents entered the cafeteria and waited for their kids to be able to come, this year we won't be able to follow that, knowing that parents aren't going to have the same access to the building. So we kind of rethought using the same area to be able to have our parent pickup. So this is the way it's going to look. We're going to have parents line up coming up this way to be able to come to this front door. Once we have all the students who are getting picked up inside of the cafeteria, we're going to take attendance to make sure they're all there. Donna, our secretary, who's historically done parent pickup and does a wonderful job, is going to open up this door. She's going to roll out her small table, which she's always had, and the only difference is now it's going to have a little plastic barrier in front. So those parents, as they come up, they're going to show their ID right to the plastic barrier. She's going to mark down the students who that parent's going to be picking up, and then we're going to direct the parent to that entranceway over here. While that's happening and the parents walking over there, our assistant principal, Michelle Tween, is going to utilize our microphone system, our PA system, to be able to call the students that are sitting in the cafeteria. Johnny and Sammy, your mom's here. Those students are going to walk to that entrance. Well, we'll have a staff member by that door to be able to watch as the students come out, reunite with a parent, and then we'll have the parent be able to, with their children, walk down this way to be able to head back to their car.
Now, must parents register in order to pick up their kids like this?
Yeah, so we do ask that parents that know that they're going to be picking up every day, there's going to be a Google form we're actually going to send out in a couple weeks to be able to get those names, because it's helpful if we know that consistently you're going to be picking up, so you don't have to send a note in every day. But if you are planning to pick up for a reason that is, today there's a doctor's appointment after school, we do require that all parents send a note in with their child that then gets sent to the main office. That way we can let the teachers know Sammy's getting picked up today and they'll be coming down to the cafeteria.
Of course, safety is a paramount concern.
Absolutely, absolutely. So throughout, we'll have our assistant principal back here, as I mentioned, plus 2 additional staff members here to be able to supervise the kids inside of the cafeteria, and a staff member by this door to be able to make sure they watch the parent and the child be reunited to be able to head back to the car.
Okay.
All right.
Shall we go inside?
Let's go inside.
Let's
Sounds
go
good.
inside.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Thank you. We're in one of the classrooms here at the Austin Road School, and looks a little different than it has in the past. How many desks do we have set up, sir?
Yeah, so certainly in this room, we have 12 desks set up. Our ultimate goal is to be able to get half of a homeroom in, so that we have enough desks. It's been a conjunction working with the custodian team, who has been amazing, Tom Wellington, and every morning we meet to be able to go off with what's the plan for today, what desks and what furniture are we moving. So any furniture that didn't allow for social distancing, we unfortunately had to take out from the room, whether it's a kidney table or tables that we normally would have 6 students be able to sit at. Unfortunately, in the time frame that we're in, we can't be able to have that. So what we did was we labeled all those tables with the teacher's name on it, moved them to our stage area in the cafeteria, so that when we do get back to normal times, those tables and everything will be able to be moved back in to be able to have that cooperative learning groups. But in the meantime, any of those classrooms that do not have desks that you currently see, we went through and did a count of all our desks to be able to start now shifting classrooms that had 26 desks, leave 13 of them there, and move 13 to another room to be able to make sure we'll cover all the classrooms, and we'll be able to do that. This certainly will be an adjustment for all students. One of the things we pride ourselves here at Austin Road is having kids be able to work together, be able to move, that flexibility, and that will be a change not only for our students, but also for the teachers.
And teachers will be teaching virtually as well as live.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult task. And like I said, it's going to be an adjustment for everyone as we move forward with all these new norms. And it's going to take time to get used to it. And we certainly hope that it's a shortened time that we can get back to the way we would normally be able to teach and be able to learn. But we have an amazing staff here at Austin Road, as we do across Mahopac, and we'll be able to adjust along with the students.
Okay, we thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Change is the word in 2021 school year. Hallways, nurse's office, main office. Tell us about this nurse office here.
So when we rethought, it was really rethinking every procedure that we had from last year and seeing would it work with New York State guidance for this year. And what we found is a lot of things needed to change based on the social distancing protocols and trying to be able to limit the contact between children and other adults. So one of those changes is now our nurse's office. We will still have a nurse's office, but the kids will enter in a different way. So kids has historically entered through our main office, but to try to limit them having to go through multiple doors, coming in contact with different adults, we're now going to have the students be able to walk around this area to our nurse's entrance that will be right there. Before the students come in, our nurse will meet them at the door. We'll take their temperature because if a student does exhibit a temperature over 100, they won't be able to enter the nurse's office. They will go into our quarantine room, which used to be our learning lab, but for this year will be the quarantine room. That way that if a child exhibits a fever, they're not coming in contact with other students and being able to spread it. We will have supervision in our learning lab for that student. That parent will be contacted to be able to come pick up their child. So that's why we're really harping this year, as we've always had, but especially this year. If your child does have a fever or is showing symptoms at home, please keep them home, because them coming in potentially could affect others. And in this time frame, we don't want to have that
So
happen.
each child will have his or her temperature taken when they come in the door.
So they won't have their temperature taken when they come through the door. The parents will have to fill out a health screener that is going to be an app on their phone. So each day that the child comes in, they're going to verify the child did not have a 100-degree fever, didn't come in contact with anyone that they know of had COVID, and don't show the COVID symptoms. Parent will hit send. We will get that information. Any child that or staff member that did not fill that out, we will reach out to the parent to verify. But some students might be called down to the nurse just to have their temperature taken to make sure that we're covered and they're fever-free and can go back to the classroom.
What about the hallways? One hallway one way, one the other.
Yeah, so we're going to divide our hallway here down the middle, so that students on the right-hand side will be walking down that way, and then our other half will be students coming down this way. Again, we're trying to be able to limit students coming in contact with each other. So as they walk down, for arrival, where historically they might have been 3 students next to each other talking, we're really going to try to keep and limit them single file down the hallway until they reach their classroom. The staircases this year are also going to look a little different. Our far staircase is going to be the up. So our students in 4th and 5th grade that historically would have used the staircase here to be able to go up are going to have to walk all the way down to be able to go upstairs. The staircase nearest to us will be the down, and that's really for dismissal purposes, that when we dismiss, kids will be closer to the bus so they can be able to walk down those stairs. The reason why we're not having the stairs be two-way is those staircases are narrow as is, and we don't want students passing each other as they go up and down. So that's the kind of the decision making there. Students are really not going to be using the hallways too much, unfortunately, this year, other than arrival and dismissal. We will have students being able to go to gym, utilize outside, obviously, to be able to get some fresh air, mass breaks, be able to run around. But a lot of the days are going to be spent in their classroom. Lunch will be delivered, if they do buy it, to the classroom. Kids will be eating at their seats this year. Again, that's limiting the amount of exposure that cohorts or classrooms are coming in contact with other kids. And also some of their specials, art and music, will now be going to the classroom. Again, taking that safety protocol of limiting the amount of kids using the different rooms and coming in contact with each other.
What about special, like speech therapy, things like that? Will it be going into the therapist's office?
Yeah, so we're working still through those procedures and looking at the schedules for those providers to be able to see. Again, we're keeping that overall thought of trying not to mix cohorts together. When we say cohorts, kids from different classes. So where historically a counselor or a speech therapist might have been able to see 3 students from different classrooms at the same time, this year that won't be possible. So we have to be able to look at and rework schedules to see, can we get kids from the same cohort or same homeroom to be able to be seen at one time, or do we have to limit the amount of students being seen to 1 at a time? So as we said, there's some things that are figured out. There's still some things we have to be able to get figured out, but we will do that. And we have a great team here and know that we can be able to work together to accomplish the goal.
We thank you for giving us this tour, and we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much. And parents certainly will be in contact as we go through with any updates or changes. I think transparency is the best way to go moving forward. My hope is to be able to let kids be able to see these procedures so when they're walking in for the first time, it's not a surprise and we can lower their anxiety on day 1.
Anthony, Brian, and his team have done a yeoman's job this summer getting Austin Road ready.
Yeah, Brian is very, very conscientious. He does a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure when school opens, everybody's ready to go. As he mentioned to you before, he's meeting with some of his grade leaders today and going over some of the stuff. So he wants the teachers to feel comfortable, because if they feel comfortable, when the students then come in, it makes it a very, very easy transition. So, as always, I'm sure Austin Road will have a great 2021 school year. It's going to be different, like in all the buildings, and we're going to work together to try our best. And as things happen and they evolve, Brian will notify the people at Austin Road, and then, of course, if it's something on a district level, I'll be doing the same.
Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo, Brian Gilligan, Principal of Austin Road. I'm Eric Gross. Stash, we thank you, sir. You've been watching the latest edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Until next time, be safe. Bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.k12.ny.us.